and I just want to meet as many people I can reach out. So this is going out of the way. Doing webinars is so that we can address the larger audience. Yeah. So this is how it is. You were so persistent. You were so persistent. I had no choice. And I knew how deeply involved you were with the cause of, spreading the awareness of mental health.
So we are live and we will get started because it's 5 o'clock and we like to get started on time. So today we're talking about the musings of a psychologist, improving your mental health with Dr. Prerna Kohli, who's India's first psychologist to be awarded by the Honourable President of India. And the reason we chose this musing of a psychologist because it's a very familiar title to her book that she has written. So nothing creative on my part there. But yes, I love the title.
The book is right behind, actually.
So frequently, I think, especially now, day-to-day issues start to overwhelm us. And soon we find ourselves drowning under our problems. In this session, we're going to try to cover the biggest challenges that many of us are facing, especially when it comes to our mental health. We will also cover the top questions affecting them as well as take the audience questions. Dr. Prerna, I think a lot of you must know her. She's an MPhil, she's a PhD in clinical psychology. She's a 4 times gold medalist who practices logotherapy. And I'm going to come to that because I know you're as curious as I am that what is logotherapy? She's a published author and has received multiple honors. And she's the first psychologist that was awarded by the Honourable President of India. She, again, is very unique because she offers a lot of heart-based workshops and lectures that focus on life balance, self-awareness, and inner peace. She's dedicated to sharing her knowledge and compassion with others. She blends her intuitive wisdom with solid understanding, creating a powerful, holistic approach, specializing in the areas of mental and emotional change. So, Dr. Prerna, first of all, welcome to Sipping Thoughts. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be on this platform. Thank you for calling me in.
Now, of course, I've already led up and alluded to what is my first question. What is logotherapy?
What is logotherapy? So logotherapy is all about having a meaning and purpose in life. It was founded by Viktor Frankl, and he has written a book on it called Search for Meaning. All right. And this was because he was in the times of Holocaust in the Nazi camps, and everybody was losing hope. But he was keeping a hope of publishing a book when he left, the camp and being back with his family. So it is all about having a purpose in life. I wonder how many of you have any purpose or goal in life. When Sukriti were talking about people procrastinating or being lazy, I don't think anybody is lazy or burnt out or procrastinating. They don't have compelling purpose. They don't have compelling goals in life. All right. And for example, being a psychologist is my purpose in life. This is my calling. This is my passion. I do my counseling from Monday through Sunday, and I love doing what I'm doing. So it is very important to find a purpose. Otherwise, you start going through an existential crisis. People come to me and say that I'm not enjoying my job, or I'm not happy in that relationship, or maybe the people who get a little older, what do I do with my life? Because there is not larger purpose. And I think if I really talk in a very, very psycho-spiritual way, because logotherapy is all about spirituality too, combined with psychology, is that we are here to serve. Our biggest purpose in life is to serve. For example, I'm doing a job, but I'm also serving. For me, it's very fulfilling if I'm able to make a difference in somebody's life. Okay. And it could be also by, having an idea which helps people. For example, I was just thinking that what was I doing in my life without the, Google Maps? How was I even driving? That's an idea which serves a larger, a platform of people. Or for example, you're able to share certain experiences with people which can motivate them, support them. So once you know why you're doing something, the how will come along. So when people come to me, I also get them out from I, me, myself, to externalizing their issues, to looking at the larger picture of what the life is all about. Life is not a war, it's a game. And we just need to play the game. We're just lacking maybe in stamina or just forgotten certain rules or ways to do it. So for me, logotherapy is helping people find the larger meaning, the larger purpose, and that is applicable to all age groups of people across all genders. That's what logotherapy is, as far as I know it.
Well, thank you for that. Now, COVID has been, as you know, a very, very tough time for many people. What are some of the major issues that you've been seeing that are emerging? And now, with the end coming near, are you seeing some changes?
So, Kriti, 61% of my cases increased during COVID. There was a mental explosion of anxiety and depression at various levels of, people suddenly have to, change their lifestyles. Also, it impacted their finances. Also, there was a lot of fear about contracting the illness or their loved ones getting it. Also, at the various age group, the children not being able to go to the educational institution, and that's the only life they know. Interacting and having experiences with their peer group is so supreme at this stage, for those young adults and children. And also the elderly, they were really having a lot of fear of death. So that was a huge thing, anxiety, and then the feeling of hopelessness, helplessness. And that's where logotherapy was really coming, that find meaning, find purpose. Maybe you're getting together, spending more time with the family. And what has happened, I wouldn't call it post-COVID at all. We are still in those times. The surge is coming back. All right, we're just more mentally prepared. Okay, we are more mentally prepared, though some of us are also suffering from the scarcity syndrome. Should I need to hoard more? Should I need to keep more money? Should I need to save it? What if, I lose my job? Those things haven't gone. But now we are more mentally prepared. All right. Also, it helps to get knowledge about something. So now we have the knowledge. So it's not like somebody's contracted, COVID is supposed to be shunned and shamed and humiliated. It was like a taboo if you got it. It was like a sin. Now people have the knowledge about it. They're calmer, they're more supportive. Having said that, many people who contracted the disease are still going through their post-traumatic stress syndrome. Okay. And you also will be surprised that I had a tough time with people who were suffering from obsessive compulsive disorder. At one stage, I taught them not to wash their hands. And now I'm going on saying, wash your hands. It has been very difficult and challenging times, even for us in the mental health space. All right. Trying to sift and sieve and showing the practicality and logic. So now there is a lot of anxiety. All right. The anxiety of death is still looming high. But I find that people in many ways are calmer and more settled because they know how to address, cope, and manage better. But the surge is still on. We still need to follow the protocols. We still need to wash our hands. We still need to have the mask. And we still need to have a social distancing and keep supporting people around us. There are a lot of people who have not traveled from overseas as yet. There are a lot of children still stuck there because they really do not know what will happen. So I think the support system and the community must come together. Otherwise, pre and post, the only difference is, yes, I can say that 6% has increased during this COVID because a lot of relationships are broken. A lot of domestic violence took place. A lot of child abuse took place, right? People are reassessing where they are with their purpose in life, right? Because people lost their jobs. There were a lot of deaths in the family. So a lot has happened, Sukriti, at different levels. So we are still there, but I think we are so resilient that when we don't have a choice but to change, we change. So I think we're really, as people across the globe, coming together and being more empathetic and being more resilient and being able to face the next surge of COVID.
But you're so right. I mean, there was a taboo big time associated with COVID when it first started. Nobody wanted to tell. It was very hush hush. Today, I went to Facebook and somebody said, "Hey, listen, I just got COVID. If you've been in touch with me, please take care and go get tested." So, yes, it's like a totally different public announcement. So, I mean, the mind shift. And I was very glad that somebody was so open about it. And listen, if you've been in contact with me, I'm letting you know,
How
please go get your
wonderful is
COVID test done.
that?
But now let's come back to mental health. So some of the taboo around COVID has gone, but the biggest challenge that we still have is this taboo that's associated with mental health. How does the society overcome such taboos? We were just doing an interview and a talk on the Meghan Markle, and she's also talking about mental diseases. We see a lot of celebrities coming out and talking about it. We see that it's becoming very, very common, but yet still we find that it's taboo to talk about it if it's in our family, if it's in our circle. So where are we with this taboo?
So this is very interesting that you ask, because my professional mission is to remove the taboo and the stigma attached to, mental health issues. And any recognition, even being on this platform, is just a step forward to create that awareness and remove that taboo. Because, and again, I think it's coming from lack of knowledge and understanding. If people understood that it is just like osteoporosis, it's just like hypertension, all right? And we talked more about it and became more acceptable, like we became acceptable about diabetes. Earlier, no one would say that they had diabetes. No one would tell they had cancer. But the kind of awareness and talking about really, really helps. And even knowledge really, really helps. And being non-judgmental, accepting people. I think it should not be that I can't come for your lunch because I have a stomach ache. You can, you have to come to a stage where you say that, listen, I'm feeling low, and that's why I can't come for your lunch. So probably you'll garner support. So we can remove this taboo by being non-judgmental, by being more empathetic, by providing that support. Because, whether it's depression or anxiety, it's like fever. Everybody will go through it at certain stage of their life with different, different areas and different age groups. We will at certain time. And it is because we made it such a taboo that people go in a denial, and then it only increases the mental health issues, right? And so people start thinking that, will she become my friend? Will I get that job? Will I get married? But if you start really talking about it, if you start getting knowledge about it, like COVID, you said people are posting. People should be able to post this, and I'm feeling low. Is there anybody to just come and chat with me, have a cup of tea with me? Let's sip a coffee and have some sipping thoughts together. Yeah, Sukriti?
Absolutely.
Seriously. So rather of isolating and abandoning, we need to garner that support system. I'll tell you something very interesting. We need to start creating safe spaces, which I did zealously for 2 years. I would call people at a cafe on Sunday at 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and tell them, have a cup of coffee with me. All right. And, I would just post it. People would come. There would be different age groups. There would be different walks of life. People would come out of town also. And it was a very safe space I had created. All right. Where we could talk about it, and not only about themselves, even about their loved ones, because they don't know what's happening to their sister or their mother or their father or their boss. All right. So creating safe spaces in our homes to start off with, of not saying, oh, nothing is the matter with you. Don't need to go to a counselor. What's wrong with you? I'm finding, Sukriti, the younger generation is still coming out. It's like our generation, the 40s and 50s, who are saying, no, nothing is wrong with you. All right. Go with your friends. All right. Go read a book. Go and
just
travel.
Smile. Just be
I
happy.
don't need to go to a counselor. Yeah. So rather, it's very heartening to see the younger generation in their 20s and 30s getting their parents and their grandparents. So creating safe spaces where we can talk about it without getting judged is very important. And that should be in educational institutions, that should be in your workplaces, that should be in your homes. And we should be, when we are sitting together in a social gathering, we should be able to talk about mental health, the issues of stress, the depression, the anxiety. This is how I think with time and spreading more awareness, like a platform like yours is spreading awareness about mental health, I am so sure this taboo, this stigma will go away one day. I'm so sure about it.
Well, thank you. But some of the words also that we use are very derogatory. Pagal hai, ye hai. So does that also play a lot on people's mind in terms of being able to talk about the taboo?
Sukriti, this is such a relevant thing you've asked. And this is true for every area in our life. Words have a chemical reaction in our body. Words spoken can break a person's mindset, can break that relationship, can break that feeling, that can break that self-esteem, that confidence. So we have to be extremely mindful of the language we use for others and for ourselves. Half the time, we are only putting our self-esteem and self-confidence down. That listen, I'm feeling low. What's wrong with me? I'm a loser. I'm having social anxiety. Oh goodness, something is. You have to be talking well to yourself. It's very important. The language you use for yourself will help you either to pick up yourself or to put yourself down. So yes, parents especially, or the caretakers, or the people outside in the workplace or educational institutions have to be extremely mindful of the words they use.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Words hurt a
They
lot.
have a
They have
chemical
a
reaction. You know,
deep
you'll forget
impact.
anybody, Sukriti, you'll forget anybody who's given you a hit or a slap, but you'll not forget the words spoken. They're etched on your heart. They have so much of an impact on us. Yeah.
So, COVID, coming back to it, has had a lot of major issues for women. And it has really created a lot of challenge barriers, like we say, isolation. We talk a lot about the domestic abuse. A lot of women are wondering, will we ever go back to normal?
Normal is as normal you can make it. So yes, it's been very challenging times. The women have been overwhelmed, especially women, not only as a homemaker but also as career women who are looking after the children who were at home, who are looking after husbands working from home, who are looking after probably the in-laws. And to make matters even more difficult, they did not have domestic help or any kind of help. So it was extremely difficult. The expectations were very high, and we were not able to even have their me time. You know, they were rolling up into a teacher, they were rolling up into a nurse, they were rolling up into a mother, they were rolling up into wife, daughter, daughter-in-law, sister, everything possible. And I think the domestic abuse was really on the rise. Yes, that was a big one. And I personally feel that it is so important for a woman not to normalize it. All right. It is not okay, even the first time, even if the person was not in his senses, whether was drunk or was angry, was stressed out. This is non negotiable. You know, domestic abuse for any kind, and that could be verbal abuse. All right. The mental abuse could be the sexual abuse, could be any physical abuse, is non negotiable. And for that, I think it's very important that women support women at home. It is very important that we have support groups. When we, shame those people who do these heinous acts, they feel a little more accountable, they feel a little more responsible. Otherwise, we are normalizing it. They think it's all right because we've said a sorry, or maybe we've not even said a sorry. She's okay with it, so it's okay. It's not okay. That's what I want to tell every woman. And every woman is so strong and so capable of standing for herself. And she must never forget that. She has a voice. All right. And there are a lot of WhatsApp groups happening. There are a lot of support groups on the social media. The government has given so many phone numbers. All right. I think it's very important to create those boundaries to stop it. And things can and will come to normal if you don't surrender to something like this and think because we also suffer from a lot of deep gender conditioning. All right. And that is another issue because this kind of social cultural upbringing, you might be telling a mom and mom saying, what is the big deal? I
एक
would
थप्पड़ ही
do,
तो है
yeah,
right
थप्पड़ ही
which
तो
is
और
तो है
एक ही तो थप्पड़ मारा है ना?
हाँ,
I mean, this is not acceptable. It's not negotiable. It is not even up for discussion of any kind. One has to stand up, and when one stands up, you will also realize that people who are really hitting are doing it also. I'm not taking anybody out of their own insecurities or their own issues or mental health. When you push them back, they really get pushed back. We don't even try pushing them back. In the sense, pushback of not accepting it. Not physical pushback of not accepting it at all. So I think we all must gather those voices. And I think we must also, every mother has a responsibility to bring up his son in a way where he respects every woman around him, whether it is a sister, whether it is the women of the house or women outside. So I think a lot of onus is on the families also, how we are bringing up our boys.
fantastic, thank you. I know because we all watched the movie Thappad and a lot of discussion around that because the fact is, okay, a lot of people felt, I mean, एक ही तो था. But I think what you're saying
As
is
a
the
beginning,
first time you have made it acceptable and never make it.
normalized it. Absolutely.
But you also work, and I was, of course, because of my stalking now that I've told everybody, I was reading up a lot on your website. You have a lot of new novel approaches that have you been using. So, like you use a lot of guided meditation for weight loss, some other. Please tell us about that because there are a lot of new therapies that have also come in.
So you know, in my personal life, I do a lot of meditation. All right, I am a not even a 5 a.m. I'm a 4 a.m. person. All right, meditation helps me, and I felt that's why I need to, have the best shared practices. Helps me to become more aware, become more mindful, and also get into a calmer space. Challenges are there for everybody. I cannot be viewed just as a psychologist. I'm somebody's daughter, wife, mother. There are similar challenges, but when you are seeing those same interactions, experiences from a seat of calmness, you're able to deal with them in a better, logical, practical way. All right. Because whatever experience, the meaning you give to an experience of your life becomes that experience. So what meaning you want to give? Are you going to react or you're going to respond? So I found that meditation, and especially it's coming in India, is an age old, thousands of years we have practiced, where we're actually even practicing doing our breath work as we meditate. And when you have anxiety, when you have depression, you'll see the issue first comes in your breath. There's palpitation in your panic, or there is slow breath. So meditation helps you to become more mindful, more aware. And for example, I took on obesity, all right, because I felt no one has thought that it is so important. People suffer from such low esteem, some such low confidence. And as a psychologist, because they are so feeling so rejected by the rest of the world, because we have this certain norm of how you should be looking like a model, and especially with people who are going through their growing up stage, the awkward stage for boys and girls. So they had the chubbiness sometimes, or for mothers who've just delivered a baby, they are also going through little more weight on themselves. And sometimes you're putting on that weight, Sukriti, because that is our way of layering up our hurt, our pain, our suffering. So we do that kind of binge eating because we find we associate with some childhood joy. And we feel that if we go into eating, we might feel happy, not knowing that it's just a vicious cycle. So I've got a lot of meditation for anxiety, for depression, for narcissism, for obesity, for calmness. So I just feel that if it makes me happy, and if I can reach out and people start practicing is first thing in the morning, or even sometimes in the afternoon, or last thing at night, they will be calmer, happier, and be more mindful.
And one question before we move on. So the meditation, the guided meditation, is it the same or is it very different for all these different things that you've talked about for anxiety?
Yeah, so they're different, they're specific. So if you go on my YouTube, they're specific, picked up, because I give a lot of affirmations. I do a certain kind of breathing. All right. For depression, there will be little more faster breathing than for anxiety, because we're all really anxious, right? For obesity, there'll be different form of meditation combined with certain affirmations to make you feel, to make you love yourself, right, and heal your life, to start having a better self-image of yourself, right? And I really don't know how many people who have logged in are feeling that way. So maybe they could put in some questions if they feel in a certain way about their self-image. Yeah.
So a couple of questions, of course, and we'll just some YouTube videos for meditation. I know you have some. So you can go to Dr. Prerna's YouTube site and you can stalk her like I do. You'll find
I
lots
love
of
that.
content there.
You seem to be my biggest fan, and I love it.
So, but before we move on, there's another question because you do, I mean, especially when you are taking on so many patients, and Shreen has asked this question: how do you refrain from taking other suffering onto yourself?
It's a very good question. And, I worked a lot on myself. And you're talking about how I'm able to take suffering, because all the time I'm dealing with pain, right? That's what you're asking me. Yeah. So nobody's calling up Dr. Kohli and saying, hi, Dr. Kohli, I'm feeling on top of the world. Can I come and see you? There's so many tears. There's so much pain. There's so much trauma. And, I can't say, oh, this case is more important than the other. It's like saying there's 1 kg weight makes you get more anxious, or 10 kg weight is the same thing. All right. So everybody's suffering. It's so important and so unique to that person. And so it is not an easy profession, to tell you. I have a lot of psychologists coming to me for help because they can't deal with it. And they keep thinking about their cases, even out of the clinic. What I've learned to do along the way, I have just remembered that I am a psychologist. That's one dimension of me. But I have other dimensions of myself too. All right. So I've learned to switch on and switch off. Once I'm in the clinic, I am totally focused. My phone is miles apart. It's on silent. I am like in meditation. This is my temple. This is it. And nobody will disturb me unless the sky is falling down. Then also there'll be some slip coming from under my door. I am so focused. But once I'm out of the room, then it is like, Bhabhi ji, wo doodh khatam ho gaya, press wale ke paise. And then I'm a regular person. Also, when I'm out in a social setting, I am not analyzing people. I'm just a regular person. So, earlier people, I wouldn't even tell people in the social gathering, Sukriti, that I'm a psychologist. Either people would avoid me or would not leave me. This was not working. So I would tell them what I do. I just used to tell them I make people happy. So, over the period of time, you have to also learn to draw your boundaries and switch on and switch off. It was not easy for me. In the beginning, I used to cry and cry at night thinking, oh my God, what people are going through, their pain, and how do I help? Can I help? What can I do for them? And I would spend hours and hours over a case. But now I've also calmed down. I've also started doing a lot of self-care. I started making those boundaries. I'm giving my 100% when I'm there. When I'm out of it, then I'm giving my 100% everywhere. Otherwise, I'll be a very difficult mother. I'll be a very difficult wife. I'll be a very difficult friend. So I have to be as normal as possible and as healthy mentally as possible to give out that energy. Yeah. So learn to switch off and switch off. Don't take this job so seriously. Don't let it just sit on your head. I could have been a pilot. I could have been an engineer. I'm a psychologist. That's it. Yeah, stay there.
So Payal also has a question coming back to the meditation one. Does it help for self-esteem also?
Help the self-esteem in what way, Sukriti?
She's just asked, does meditation help for self-esteem too?
Yes, and I will make one specifically for you for self-esteem now. All right?
Yeah. Awesome. Now coming back to something that's very, very sad. Every 3 seconds, there's an attempted suicide in India. This is becoming a very, very big issue. How can we understand the signs that someone is suicidal? What should we do? Because this has been creating a panic issue in a lot of parents, a lot of people, especially with COVID.
Yeah. So yes, there is every 3 seconds there's an attempt to suicide, and this is a stark reality. Yeah. And this is happening because could be various issues. It's because of course, the financial impact people have had. It is also because of the jobs they've lost, or even some people have had some broken relationships. Some people have really lost their loved ones. And otherwise also there is a lot of, and if I look at it generally also, there's a lot of frustration, there is a lot of competitiveness, there's a lot of materialism, all right? And people are not able to cope up because I feel there's a lack of empathy in the environment now. We are started, being very judgmental about people. All right. So the telltale signs are very obvious when you start seeing your friend or your colleague, or, maybe your neighbor is totally withdrawing and is not coming out, or is not enjoying the same activities, or is not even having lunch or dinners with you. You will also find these people who would probably start, saying a language that, listen, I'm such a burden on the family. If I'm not there, which friend will miss me? So the language, those are the telltale signs. There'll be also people who will start, if you just check around in the hostel if you're there, or at home, they'll start getting some kind of pesticides, or some kind of scissors or blades to self-harm. So you have to also keep it, or start getting some kind of substance. All right, they start also drinking a lot, or start becoming very rash about how they are. They start driving very fast. All right, they start having an overdose of alcohol, or you will suddenly see that they're starting having a lot of mood disorder. They're really getting into huge rages. They start just getting angry, start screaming and shouting. So those are the telltale signs where you just do, and they're locking the rooms, they won't come out of the room, and you're knocking at the door and they're saying don't disturb. What really helps, Sukriti, is instead of saying, oh, let it be, or maybe that person needs space, increase your communication. By increasing your communication, being non-judgmental, you will at least know what's going in the person's mind, and thus you will be able to support. And whenever you get that kind of hint, if it's of your loved one, please immediately fix them an appointment with a psychologist, because you cannot handle those issues that the person may be feeling. So these are the very clear telltales, and people start writing the will. Okay, people start cleaning the room, start giving away their belongings. This is my favorite sari, please take. Or this is my favorite shirt. What happened? This is your favorite shirt. No, maybe I don't need it now. I don't know when I will need it. I don't know what I plan to do. Many people will start saying that they want to be towards the mountains all the time. They want to be towards the beaches all the time. You have to feel around those people, especially if they're emotionally sensitive, or they know they've gone through a period of depression, or some kind of major event has happened in their life. Heartbreaks is a big one. Financial loss is a big one. Failing in your examination is a big one. Getting bullied is a big one. Getting, abused is a big one. You have to understand these things which are happening in a person's life, and just garner a lot of support system around this person, so the person feels needed, wanted, accepted, and then has the will to live. Yeah.
Well, you brought up some very interesting issues. Even for women now, we suffer from a lot of hormone issues. We've got PCOD, we've got PCOS, we've got periods, we've got menopause. All of this also starts to take a big toll on mental health. How does one deal with that?
So, women go through this hormonal cycle, as you were saying, about puberty, about menstruation, pregnancy, and then menopause. All right. And I've written a lot of blogs, and you have to understand that if a person is going through the polycystic ovary syndrome, is by default is going to have, because of the hormonal imbalance, is going to have generalized anxiety, because you start gaining weight, you start having facial hair, you start having a lot of acne. And this is the young time, the reproductive time, and you want to look good, you want to attract people, you want to feel really nice about yourself. I think here we again need support. We also need to look after our health. We need to exercise. Yeah. We need to probably go to the dermat. We need to be aware what to do the self-care. Yeah. Because this is a hormonal issue. And if people are accepting around you, then it just becomes easy. It's if you're having acne and person saying, what has happened to your face? I remember one time my son, and the tiffin was packed and everything, and he was just about to catch the bus, and suddenly he came down. He says, I'm not going to the school. I said, what happened, beta? I have an acne. I said, what? He says, everybody's going to tease me about the acne. So similar is with the women. So if they have facial hair or they have acne, right? So what I'm saying is that if we are able to give them support, if they're able to go through, most of the time you don't need medication, but in some cases you might need the medication of some hormonal therapy. It's just a stage, you will come out of it then. It's that simple. But there would be depression, there would be generalized anxiety, and people around them must understand the reasons for it.
Now you've brought up that the D word, and that's a very, very scary word for a lot of us, because over 50 million people in India are suffering from depression. And we might as well say that we are in a depression pandemic, but we're still not able to understand it. Are there simple ways or some ways that we can think about how we can overcome depression or even think about depression?
Depression is a very, very treacherous disease. It is, I can't even tell you how treacherous it is. We start thinking that, oh God, this person just is being lazy, doesn't go for that walk, or doesn't meet people. It is such a treacherous disease that people can't will themselves to do it. They're not lazy. They want to socialize. They want to take that bath. They want to meet people, but they're just not able to. So we do have mild, moderate, and severe depression. So if you're able to be at the point where able to, handle them when it's mild, we'll be able to also handle not going to the moderate and then the severe. So in depression, you will see that there is very poor personal hygiene. You will see the person is actually having social anxiety, doesn't want to meet anybody, is also really locking the room and sitting, doesn't want to interact, doesn't feel like doing the things he or she wanted to do, like enjoying that food or that movie or that book or that hobby, is total withdrawal. All right. And I think depression also stems from not being understood. In today's time, Sukriti, I remember when I was in 10th and I was reading this book, Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. And our teacher said the highest compliment one individual can give to another individual, all right? The compliment, and that's not just man, woman, anybody, the mother, daughter, boss, is I love you. That's the highest compliment. And that time I said, no, I don't agree with you. The highest compliment one can give to the other person is I trust you. But today, that's not the highest compliment another person can give you is I hear you. Nobody's even willing to hear what you want to say. I have cases coming to me and saying, Dr. Kohli, you just come because I've written that poetry, but there's no one to hear. Nobody has the time. Or I have done that drawing. Can I come and show it to you? I've done that painting. My room is just full of the things people have done themselves because there's no one to appreciate. And then that's why people really go majorly into depression. And why there's so much depression also, all right, is because we were primarily not designed to lead a sedentary, indoor, fast food laden, also socially isolated, all right, a very, very sleep deprived way of life. We are going through all this. And that's why the depression is coming. There's inflammation of the brain. And these are also new age diseases, you must know, whether it is osteoporosis, whether it is asthma, whether it is sinus, all right, whether it is certain kind of tumors, whether it's so much depression, there's inflammation happening. And that's why it's recommended to have healthy, which we have in our diet. All right. It is also recommended to be out in the sunlight. All right. It helps in, and also to exercise. 3 things if you do in your life: have a routine, and if you eat well, sleep well, and exercise well consistently, like Sukriti consistently stalks me. All right. Then it serves the purpose. So if you do these 3 things consistently and diligently with the routine, you would be also have a hobby, also have a social life, all right? And again, maybe join some community. And we also, Sukriti, product of our environment, have environment which is supportive, brings out your strengths and doesn't focus on your weaknesses. It'll rise up the energy, and there's no reason, unless of course there's been a chemical imbalance, then we need to meet the psychologist and the psychiatrist. Otherwise, the mild ones can be done by support back home and having that conducive environment. We can all come out of it. Depression is like fever many times. We go through various stages. It could be mild, and let's manage it at that stage. Because if nobody is going to be supportive and nobody is going to give you that kind of support and that kind of encouragement and that kind of non-judgment, it is only going to increase. Because you feel isolated, you feel abandoned. And anyways, you're in so much denial, you don't want to talk about it because you're judged. So just let's create a very, very safe environment, safe spaces, and let's support each other. That's most important.
So I'm going to take Apiksha's question now. She says that I want to know that I am suffering from depression. Is there some special way to do meditation? I tried to do meditation a number of times and I really got so much more disturbed with emotions, feelings, vibrations. I wanted to know if there's some special way to do it.
Sweetie, I would like you to go to YouTube and go through the guided meditation for depression by Dr. Prerna Kohli, then come back to me. Maybe that helps. All right? Just go through that. I already have a guided meditation for depression.
And Nisha is asking this question. How do you deal with someone who makes you feel bad about you, just even for a little acne, even if they are your own parents?
If it's their own?
Parents.
So, I'll tell you something. It helps to understand that everybody is talking from their level of understanding. Your parents genuinely don't even realize that they're hurting you. It's important to make them sit down and have that conversation with them. That listen, when you talk to me like this, it hurts me. It breaks down my self-esteem, my confidence. I'll really appreciate if you don't do that. Have that conversation. Because I'll tell you, parents love you. It's just that sometimes they're just not mindful. There's no conscious parenting happening. They'll just say things for the sake of it. All right, then why don't you look after yourself? Maybe you're not washing your face properly. Maybe you're not taking that medicine. Maybe you're not doing your exercise properly. You have a conversation with them and then you will realize that things will become better. Also, then you're drawing your boundary that listen, I don't accept this kind of conversation. Don't have it with me. Okay?
Perfect. Thank you. Now you brought up the self-awareness, mindfulness, gratitude, meditation. These are all the latest buzzwords. They're everywhere. But can these really help us in our journey towards this attaining this happiness?
So, Kriti, what is fulfillment, what is success is very individual. But I can tell you from my personal experience, since the time I learned how to read and write, I've been writing my gratitude journal. So I have those journals all around me. I have one on my table, which I'll do in the evening after my sessions. I have one on my bedside for my morning. I write because we get up every morning. Either we are thinking what is there in my life or what is missing in my life. And the latest research shows that 6,200 thoughts are what is missing in my life. All right. And these are negative thoughts. And these negative thoughts just keep you pulled down. So if you write a journal of gratitude, if you look at life from the lens of gratitude, you will see more possibility, you will see more potential, and your mind space will move towards more inspiration, more guidance, more wisdom. So all these mindfulness, the gratitude journal, or doing these meditations, I'll also say do breath work, do yoga exercises, do community work. They really are very, very fulfilling. Yeah?
Yeah, so there is a question that has come up on meditation. I think a lot of us, first of all, don't know how to do meditation. And somebody's asking, when I do meditation, I go into the past. And how to deal with that? What is the right type of meditation to do? Or is there a right type?
No, see, meditation is not a rocket science. What really happens is, I'll just tell you to just go to guided meditations on YouTube, simple ones. You can start with mine. These are simple ones. Probably, Sukriti, I could help them go through a meditation at some stage here. Yeah.
We will do one with
Yeah.
you. I hope you will do one with us.
What I will tell you is that, let your thoughts come and go. What you will resist will persist. All right. And you could start for just 5 to 6 minutes of meditation. Meditation is more of your breath work, just focusing on your breath and keep getting the focus back. Keep getting the focus back. If you can hear the sound of the fan, or you can hear, some other person making some noise from the kitchen, or you can smell some aroma, or you can feel the cloth on your body. It's all right. Just have those experiences, then keep going back to your breath. Keep going back to your breath. That's all to it. So if you're going and saying that, listen, whenever I start meditation, I am gone to the past, you're not meditating. You are gone to the past. You are in your past thoughts. You're not meditating. Yeah. So just start very gradually and let those thoughts come. And I think, ideally start at night just before you're going to sleep. All right. So it starts coming. It is in a very gentle way. Just focus on your breath, sit straight, focus on your breath, and you will feel sleepy. Let that be on. Let it go to your subconscious. You will get the rhythm. You start feeding, you start mind training for that kind of sound and peace and those words. Start slow and gentle with yourself. Okay.
So I'll take two questions before we ask you to do, please, and we would love for you to do a guided meditation for us. But I'll take this question from Jayesh. How to deal with an anxious attachment style?
Anxious attachment style only happens when you're very, very insecure about that particular relationship. So if you could specify, that would be helpful. Because by and large, Sukruti, I don't like to generalize. Because it's so specific to that individual, depending on the environment, social, cultural, bringing up the own genetic markers, your own personality. But I would tell that, any relationship should be adding value to your life, should be making you more joyous and more fulfilled. And I think you must feel fulfilled and complete yourself and not feel needy in a relationship, because you become very anxious if you're needy in the relationship. Just see that relationship is actually the cherry on the topping and not fulfilling your needs. Because when the needs are not fulfilled, there's a gap between expectations and reality, and you start becoming anxious about that relationship. I hope that helps.
Now, one question from Alicia. I think a lot of us, because with COVID, we have also been stuck inside, very insular. So she would also like to know, and I think a lot of people, how to deal with social anxiety. I have a tendency of pretending others around me in public don't exist to calm myself down when I am in public.
So, what really happens that most of us not even stepped out. Many people saying, thank God, this is a lockdown. I don't have to socialize. I don't have to meet people. Huh? So, if it is really anxiety, if you have those telltale signs, if you're having palpitations, if you're having a dry mouth, if you're sitting on the edge of the seat, if your hands are sweaty, please also understand the difference between pressure, and stress, different between worry and anxiety. If you're worried a little bit, that will I know those people, will I be comfortable, it helps to understand, maybe from the host, for example, who all are coming. All right, what is the theme? Are we sitting, are we standing, what kind of clothes people are wearing? Because these are social anxiety markers. We do not know what people are wearing, or are they going to be people we are familiar with, or they're going to be new. And you could step out and start meeting one person, all right, and people you are more comfortable with. All right. Also, social anxiety will stem when you really do not know what is happening outside. Keep abreast with general knowledge. And if it is not general knowledge, at least have certain topic to talk on, have depth of knowledge about it, so you can contribute to a conversation. Half the time social anxiety is coming because we don't know what to talk about. Okay, so there are many factors of social anxiety, and the more you will withdraw, the more difficult it will be for you to dress up, go out, make that conversation. So don't stop socializing. You could socialize with your neighbor you're comfortable with. All right, socialize with a colleague you're comfortable with. Start having a kind of a group chat, all right, where you are comfortable. Maybe not start with the video in the beginning, just the chat, and then the video comes in. All right, start feeling familiar and comfortable with your social setting, and you will be fine. Unless there's the other deep-rooted issues. But I'm just telling you, if you're worried, that's okay. There's nothing to be anxious. Okay, you're really good and you're really special. Stay there.
And last question before we actually ask you to do a guided meditation for us. The big tussle between parents and children and this generation gap. They don't understand us, we don't understand them. So how do you deal with this?
I don't think so, Sukruti. There's anything called the generation gap. I think there is a communication breakdown, that's all. All right. And I want to tell all those who are young here that, parents are doing their best in those given circumstances. They are human beings. They are still your best friends. You need to increase the communication. You'll see many times they're really interfering. They're like sometimes actually stalking you. All right. They really want to know what's happening, and you feel very intimidated. They're only doing it because you don't talk to them. Sometimes you feel that, listen, why is mom saying to keep calling her if just because I've gone out at night somewhere or I'm at a friend's place? It's only out of your concern for safety. It is not about trust issues, which you feel they're trust issues. And as far as parents are concerned here, I really want to reach out and tell them from this platform, they need to be more kind in their words. They need to be more supportive about their children's dreams. These are their dreams. They can't be fulfilling your dreams. All right. So, and also, I would really tell the parents not to talk to them in an angry tone. It has to be in rather an empathetic tone. If children don't come and tell you any and everything, it's because you've not set that environment. Otherwise, the worst and the best thing they should be telling you first. Why aren't they telling you? Because they're not getting the right responses. So parents also have to be very mindful. Children have to be very mindful. They must respect their parents. They must love their parents. And for God's sake, stop comparing your parents with other parents. Your parents don't compare you with other children. This is the new thing I'm finding. That mother does this one's father does that. That is also putting a lot of pressure on the parents. And the same breath, I'm telling parents, please see your children as unique individuals with their own goals and passions. So increase communication, and please be gentle in your tone and words. Yeah. And there's no such thing as generation gap. We can easily bridge it, because family is what you need at the end of the day. And COVID has taught us how important it is to have a family. Yeah.
Sorry, but Dr. Prerna, but one more. I think thank Vandana for being so lucid, because she says, I want to do a lot in life and in my career, but when I work, one or the other health issues at extreme level, it comes and I have to leave the job. I am so weak mentally and physically. I think that I am of no use because my whole life I've been working for my career. So what should I do? I think that my parents also do not expect much from me. They do love me. And slowly my husband also thinking the same. I think my parents are slowly disowning me, and I think my viewpoint is changing. So what should I do? And thank you, Vandana, for
What's her name?
Vandana.
Vandana, this will require minimum 45 minutes of a conversation with you. And now that I'm in this platform, I want you to feel free to talk to me. All right, I'll give you that appointment free of cost to have a chat with me, because this is really big. It cannot be trivialized in 2 lines. All right, I will have a talk with you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Prerna. And I know we all also want to understand a little bit of the guided meditation that you do, so that we can all leave in a very positive and a good frame of mind.
So I'm going to read through this meditation, right? I want you to sit down comfortably with your back straight. Yeah. And just see there's nothing on your lap. Okay. And close your eyes very gently and just be as comfortable as possible. Loosen any tight or restrictive clothes. Also keep your palms open, placed on your lap. Now bring your full attention in this moment to settling in and allowing the mind and body to be still. Take a moment to notice the natural rhythm of your breath. Going in through your nose, reaching your lungs, filling your chest with air, and as you exhale, the breath coming out of your nose. Don't try to force the breath or regulate it in any way. Just allow it to flow naturally on its own. Now, as you breathe naturally, just notice where your mind goes with your eyes closed, without trying to stop any of your thoughts. See for the next few moments if you can let the thoughts arise and watch them wash away with your exhalation. Almost as if your breaths are wind and your thoughts are clouds. On your next breath, As you exhale, allow yourself to let all of the tension, fear, or stress melt away out of your body, out of your mind, out of your being, even just for this moment. Focus on deep inhaling and exhaling. In this moment, remind yourself that you have a great power within you, and let that power guide you through any storm that you might be facing in life. Believe in it. Believe in yourself. I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out, and simply relax. Everything is going to be okay. As you breathe deeply again, feel the body slowly letting go. Feel the mind slowly letting go. Be present in all that you are. A beautiful, radiant being of light who is feeling calm and peaceful. Breathe in and breathe out. Now, as you feel calm and relaxed, allow yourself to set an intention for this meditation and say that intention to yourself silently. It could be feeling more joyful or calmer or happier at the end of the meditation. Or it could be the intention of just feeling relaxed and being relieved from any stress or tensions. Once you have set your intention, let's bring that intention closer to you, around your heart area, and bring that intention in through a deep inhale and exhale. Release it. Say your intention as you inhale silently and repeat it to yourself as you exhale silently. We are trying to bring the mind's attention to the breath and your intention, watching this intention in and out of your body, making it become a part of you, part of what you want, part of who you are. As you feel the breath coming in and out of your nose, watch it as it passes in and out of your lungs and traveling in the belly, out of the belly, in through the lungs and out of your nose, creating this full cycle of yogic breath, where your breath comes in like a wave and washes out like a wave, cleansing your body and mind of any impurities or ideas or thoughts that aren't innately you. Stay with this breath and allow your breath to become a bit deeper, a little bit longer, a little bit fuller. And again, digging in a little deeper. Inhale and exhale. To further welcome calmness and peace today, let's practice some gratitude to allow your mind to focus on the positive, beautiful, and most simple things in your life, like breathing and even having this moment to yourself. As you take deep breaths, try to say these simple few words to yourself and try to truly feel these words as you say them. Thank you. Thank you for my breath. Thank you for my strength to be able to be myself at this time. Thank you for all the love around me. Thank you for all the support in my life. Continue to repeat this from your heart and add things that you feel grateful for. And as you become aware of your surroundings, notice how you feel. A bit more peaceful, a bit more calm, a bit more free, a bit more content. Now slowly lift your hands and rub your palms against each other, creating a sense of warmth, and slowly place your palms over your eyes for a moment. As you bring your arms down, slowly start to open your eyes and embrace the sense of calmness and peace that you have achieved. And keep that beautiful smile on your face. Gently open your eyes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kohli. And we are now actually running out of time. So any last words you'd like to leave us with?
I would just want to tell each one of you that each one of you is so unique, so special, and so loved and wanted. And just keep believing that you have a larger purpose in life. You're here to serve people, right? And to the best of your ability, lead a purposeful life, a fulfilling life. Yeah. My best wishes for a absolutely depression-free, stress-free, and anxiety-free life. God bless each one of you.
So
All my prayers and all my happiness. Wishing you all the happiness to you, more abundance and more joy, always, every moment.
So with gratitude, we wish you a very good Holi and a very nice weekend.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.